The afternoon sun streamed through the windows of Sweet Dreams Bakery as 33-year-old Marcus Rivera stood with his 7-year-old daughter Sophia, staring at the beautiful birthday cake they had come to pick up. His worn denim jacket and tired eyes told the story of a man who had been working multiple jobs to make ends meet since his wife passed away 2 years ago. Sophia pressed her face against the glass display case, her light brown hair falling in gentle waves as she admired the creation that had been made specially for her 8th birthday. The cake was everything she had dreamed of. 3 layers with pink and purple frosting, delicate sugar flowers, and "Happy Birthday, Sophia" written in elegant script across the top. "It's perfect, Papa," Sophia whispered, her voice filled with wonder. Marcus felt his heart break as he opened his wallet and counted the bills inside. $32. The cake cost $75. Behind the counter, the young bakery assistant waited patiently, but Marcus could see the sympathy in her eyes as she watched him struggle with the mathematics of his situation. "I'm so sorry," Marcus said quietly, his voice thick with embarrassment. "I thought I had enough saved up, but my car needed an emergency repair this week, and I had to choose between that and—" He trailed off, unable to finish the sentence in front of Sophia. Sophia looked up at her father with understanding far beyond her years. "It's okay, Papa. We don't need a fancy cake. You said we could make cookies at home instead." Marcus knelt down to Sophia's level, fighting back tears. "I know, Mia, but I wanted to give you something special for your birthday. You deserve so much more than I can provide right now." "You give me everything I need," Sophia said seriously, placing her small hand on his cheek. "You work so hard and you read me stories every night. And you make the best pancakes in the whole world." From across the bakery, 35-year-old Elena Castellanos had been watching this interaction unfold. As CEO of Castellanos Holdings, a real estate development company she had built from the ground up, Elena was no stranger to difficult decisions and emotional moments. But something about this father's obvious love for his daughter and the quiet dignity with which they were handling their disappointment struck her deeply. Elena approached the counter, her elegant cream-colored coat and professional demeanor marking her as someone accustomed to solving problems efficiently. "Excuse me," she said gently to the bakery assistant. "I'd like to purchase that cake for this young lady." Marcus looked up in surprise, immediately shaking his head. "Ma'am, that's incredibly kind, but I can't accept charity. I'll figure out another way to make Sophia's birthday special." "This isn't charity," Elena said with a warm smile, looking down at Sophia. "Today is obviously a very important day, and every little girl deserves to have her birthday cake dreams come true." She turned to the bakery assistant. "Please add this to my order and include a dozen of those beautiful cupcakes as well." Sophia's eyes grew wide with amazement, but she looked at her father for permission before responding. "Papa, is it okay?" she asked softly. Marcus struggled with his pride for a moment, then looked into Elena's kind eyes and saw genuine care, not pity. "What do you say to the nice lady, Sophia?" "Thank you so much," Sophia said, her voice barely above a whisper. "This is the most beautiful cake I've ever seen." "What's your name, sweetheart?" Elena asked, crouching down to Sophia's level. "Sophia Maria Rivera. Today I'm turning 8, and Papa says 8 is when you start having the best adventures." "Your papa is absolutely right," Elena replied. 8 is a magical age. What kind of adventures are you planning?" As Sophia chattered excitedly about her hopes for the coming year, Elena found herself drawn into conversation with Marcus. She learned that he worked as a maintenance supervisor at an office building during the day and cleaned offices 3 nights a week to make ends meet. His wife had died of cancer, leaving him to raise Sophia alone while managing the medical bills that insurance hadn't covered. "I keep telling myself it's temporary," Marcus said quietly, while Sophia was distracted by the cake decorating process she was watching through the kitchen window. "That eventually I'll get ahead of the bills and be able to give her the kind of childhood she deserves." "It sounds like you're already giving her exactly what she needs," Elena replied. "Love, attention, and the security of knowing she's the most important thing in your life." "Some days it doesn't feel like enough," Marcus admitted. Elena studied this man who was clearly exhausted but hadn't given up, who was struggling financially but had raised a daughter who was polite, grateful, and obviously adored him. "Marcus, can I ask what you did before your wife became ill?" "I was a project manager for a construction company," Marcus replied. "I had to leave that job because it required too much travel and Sophia needed stability at home." Elena felt something click in her mind. Project management for construction. That's exactly the kind of experience I've been looking for. She pulled out her business card and handed it to Marcus. "Castellanos Holdings is always looking for experienced project managers. We develop residential and commercial properties, and we need someone who understands both the technical and human sides of construction." Marcus stared at the card. "Ms. Castellanos, I appreciate the gesture, but I can't accept a job offer out of pity." "This isn't pity," Elena said firmly. "This is business. I've been trying to fill this position for 3 months, and everyone I've interviewed has been either overqualified and looking for a stepping stone, or underqualified and in over their heads." She looked at Sophia, who was now helping the baker put the finishing touches on her cake. "What I need is someone who understands responsibility, who knows how to manage complex projects while keeping the human element in mind, and who won't job hop the minute something better comes along." "You can tell all that from a 10-minute conversation?" Marcus asked skeptically. "I can tell that from watching how you handle disappointment with grace, how you've raised a daughter who's polite and thoughtful despite difficult circumstances, and how you put her needs before your pride," Elena replied. "Those aren't skills you learn in business school." As they prepared to leave the bakery, Sophia carefully carried her cake box while Marcus held the cupcakes, still somewhat overwhelmed by the kindness they had received. "Ms. Elena," Sophia said as they reached the door, "would you like to come to my birthday party? It's just going to be me and Papa and maybe Mrs. Rodriguez from downstairs, but we're going to play games and Papa promised to make his special tacos." Elena felt her heart melt at this invitation, from a child who had just received an unexpected gift and wanted to share her celebration. "I would be honored to come to your party." "Sophia, what time should I be there?" 6 months later, Elena stood in the kitchen of the house that Marcus and Sophia now rented in a safe neighborhood with good schools, watching as Sophia helped Marcus prepare dinner for their regular Sunday family meal. The title family had evolved naturally over the months as Elena had become not just Marcus's employer, but an integral part of their lives. Marcus had excelled in his new position, bringing both technical expertise and emotional intelligence to projects that had previously been managed purely by spreadsheets and timelines. His understanding of what it meant to build not just structures but communities had made him invaluable to Elena's company. More than that, Elena had discovered something she hadn't known she was missing: the joy of being part of a real family, built not on obligation or convenience, but on mutual care and genuine affection. "Elena, look what I learned at school," Sophia called out, proudly demonstrating a new math concept she had mastered. "That's incredible, Sophia," Elena replied, genuinely impressed. "You're going to be running your own company before you know it." "Maybe I can work with you and Papa," Sophia said thoughtfully. "We could build houses for families who need them." Elena looked at Marcus, who was smiling at his daughter's dreams with the pride of a father who had learned that sometimes the best gifts come disguised as challenges. The birthday cake that had seemed impossible to afford had become the catalyst for changes none of them could have imagined. Sophia's 8th birthday had indeed marked the beginning of their best adventures, though not in ways any of them had expected. Elena had learned that success wasn't just about building profitable developments, but about recognizing when you have the power to build someone's dreams. Marcus had discovered that accepting help wasn't a sign of weakness, but an opportunity to create something better for the people you love. And Sophia, now 9 and confident in her place in their chosen family, had learned that birthdays aren't just about cake and presents, but about the moments when strangers choose to become part of your story. The bakery where they had first met became their tradition for every special occasion, not because the cakes were extraordinary, but because it reminded them of the day when kindness had transformed what felt like failure into the foundation for something beautiful. Sometimes the most important investments we make aren't financial, but emotional. Sometimes the greatest returns come not from calculating profit margins, but from calculating the immeasurable value of helping someone else's dreams survive another day. And sometimes a little girl's birthday cake becomes the recipe for a family that was always meant to be, even when none of them knew they were looking for each other. If this story reminded you that the simplest acts of generosity can change the trajectory of multiple lives, please give it a like and share it with someone who might need encouragement about the power of kindness. Subscribe for more stories about unexpected families and the beautiful ways that helping others often helps us find exactly what we didn't know we were missing. And please comment below about a time when someone's generosity made a difficult moment into something beautiful, or when helping others led to meaningful connections in your own life. Your story might inspire someone else to reach out with kindness today.